Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening, and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to a special edition of tonight's show. With us, we have Damon Naylor, multifaceted, passionate, and skilled, all-described Damon DaRil Naylor, with several hundred speaking engagements under his belt. Damon has become known as a Renaissance man, inspirational communicator, gift guru, and authority expert who is able to provide direction, inspiration, and education to any audience. Mr. Naylor possesses a wealth of knowledge in the following areas of educational, entrepreneurial, business, religious, entertainment, relationships, leadership, and parenting. As a result of his expertise and insight, he has been featured hundreds of times in various media outlets, including the Huffington Post, Reader's Digest, Thrive Global, Goalcast, MSN, Yahoo podcasts, radio or TV shows, magazines, and newspapers. And of course, currently Damon serves as an author, a speaker, consultant, coach, and an educator. So without further ado, please help me welcome to my platform, Mr. Damon DaRil Naylor. Hello, Damon. How are you?
I am fine, and hello, Kimberly, and to your audience. We're just glad to be here with you guys, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Well, it is my pleasure, and I'm glad that we actually can get on here and talk to the listeners, because for those who are wondering why we were taking so long, we had this technical difficulty thing going on in the background. Yeah, this is weird, but we are finally here. Yep. And before we actually jump into the actual interview, I want to tell the listeners and I want to tell you how tonight is actually a very special night. That today we're going to be celebrating the 200th episode here on Your Resource for Success podcast program here on iHeartRadio, and we're on 13 other different platforms. I'm so glad that I have Damon DaRil Naylor to hang out with me tonight and celebrate.
Yay! Well, congratulations to you. That is a magnificent feat. Hats off to you for sticking in the game and doing it that long for that many episodes. That's commendable. Great job, Kim. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So enough about me. Let's dive into who you are, Damon. So please tell the listeners a little bit more about who the real Damon Naylor is.
Well, Damon originated in New Orleans, Louisiana, and then at the tender age of 18, I migrated to where I am now, which is in the northern part of the state in a place called Monroe, Louisiana. So I came up here for college. I attended what's now ULM, and it was the Northeast Louisiana University, and now it's the University of Louisiana at Monroe. And I obtained my Bachelor of Arts degree in education. And when I finished, I taught for 7 years. I taught 3rd and 5th grade at the elementary level. Really loved teaching, but kind of got to a place to where I was losing a passion for just the classroom setting. That format just began to make me feel limited and confined. And so in 2004, I ended up launching out to start a business there or pursue entrepreneurship. And I pursued motivational speaking, writing, and music production. And I was doing that for a while. Things were going really well, and then ended up hitting kind of a dry spell. And then I pivoted and started a janitorial service with a friend of mine, a buddy. And we ended up running that business for like 12 years. and then I transitioned into what I'm doing now as far as being a parent educator, working with a local nonprofit organization while still doing my speaking, writing, and music as well. And of course, I've added the head of consultant and coach to that as well. And just doing all of those things, keeping myself busy. And on the personal side, I'm a husband and a father of 4 wonderful sons. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I can definitely say you are busy and the jack of all trades. So we are definitely going to dive into this a little further because, listening to you talk about you were an educator and how you just kind of lost that passion of just being educated, doing the education piece because you're stuck in this box. And then to hear that you've blossomed out of that box into all these different things. Before we jump into the portion about your doing the consulting and so forth, how did you go from being a consultant and doing the business of cleaning and so forth with your friend? I mean, because that's a huge difference. And then get back into, right? I mean, it's like, janitorial work, nothing wrong with it, but business is a business, but it's such a complete difference to what you started out doing. And then of course came back to doing again. So how did you kind of make that decision during that time frame?
And I'm glad you asked that question because most people wonder the same thing. As a matter of fact, while I was serving as a janitor at different locations where people were on site, and I would literally tell them all of the other things I do, and they would just look at me with this confused look. And most of the time, they would think I was lying until I sent them the information, and they saw it and like, wow, this dude really does all this stuff. Why are you here?
Right.
But it was basically that pivot in a kind of a time of necessity, I guess, because like I said, things had begun to kind of dry up because I had put out my latest CD, I had put out my latest book, and things were really hot and going well for a while. Then all of a sudden it kind of died down. I didn't follow up with a release soon enough, which I learned from that. You have to constantly come up and put out new material. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening, as I stated, ended up having a partner. And there was an opportunity that presented itself as far as some company, a local bank that needed janitorial service. And because we had that inside connection, mm-hmm. and I knew I could run a business, I knew I could clean really well, I'm pretty organized, I was like, well, let's try it. And the next thing you know, we tried it. And when I say, God bless, just things began to open up, all kinds of doors opened up, and we just did so much. We had so much success, experienced so much success with it, and it was just an awesome endeavor. But what happened, like I always tell people, if you remove that part of my journey, then you remove some pertinent information and revelation and experiences that I gathered through that time. Mm-hmm. And it's all relevant to who I am today, because while I was running that business, that's when I, got my experience at hiring employees. Mm-hmm. And we had about, I think, 13 or 14 at the height of the company when we were doing our best. And to be able to organize that and to be able to, do the payroll, broker the contracts and do management and all of that stuff, it taught me so much about business, the ins and outs of it, and managing people. And as I stated, that is all of those concepts and those skills I transferred into what I'm doing now. And it's so relevant. And I know most people, like you said, seem so detached and disconnected mm-hmm. from who I am and what I am, but it was all a part of it. And then I would say I thought it was a detour, but it actually was along the path. It was just one of those places we had to stop to gain and glean those important lessons and concepts that are now relevant to us today. But as I always tell people as well, I kept my eye on the actual prize, which was to be, to do the motivational speaking, the writing, and music production, basically, full time.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
And so with me doing what I'm doing now, I'm just right smack dab in the perfect will there and just fulfilling my destiny.
Right. Well, I think it's amazing how we think we have the answer and we think we know where we're supposed to be at the right time. And obviously timing was everything for you, and the path that you were on was fine. But then you had, like you said, those other lessons to learn about business. And as we know, business, it's one thing to know your passion, but it's another thing to know everything else that goes around that passion when it comes to running a business. And 90% of the time, people are lost in that perspective, and it takes a little something to kind of make you say, you know what, how am I going to do this and this and this? Yeah. And so, like you said, having the opportunity to learn that portion of the business has got you where you're at today. So let's backtrack a little bit more. That, before you even started into the janitorial business, you talked about doing the inspirational speaking. You were tired of, like I said, doing the educational thing because it kind of boxed you. So talk a little bit about that experience, and how did it inspire you to walk away from what we would consider a great opportunity as an educator and then, turn around and do what you did?
Well, what happened, while I was teaching, it just out of the blue, people began to request me to come and conduct speaking engagements. I mean, just out of nowhere. And they were coming from all kinds of places. I was doing elementary school assemblies, graduations, you name it, church functions, workshops. And I'm like, man, this is funny. And I began to look into it, and I really loved it. Like you said, I was passionate about it, and I was skilled at doing it. And I was like, man, that might be awesome. And I began to do the research and found out about motivational speaking and everything. And because those doors were opening and I was making lots of connections, I was like, well, that would definitely be something that I can really step out and do effectively. And then, as I stated, I already actually been doing the music prior to that. And my thing was, if I step out, it'll be, I guess, a little more, it would be safer with me having more than one iron in the fire. And that's something I always try to coach people and teach them. Always have multiple streams and multiple options. You always want to have options. And that way, if one thing gets stopped up, then you can always pivot and turn to the next, or just have several options. But yes, that's what began to happen. We began to get those requests, and I began to have lots of experience and open doors and opportunities to speak. And that's why we decided, okay, well, we can launch out and do that, because things were really opening up and flowing for us there.
Well, the one thing that you have that most people don't have is that you have the gift of music. Okay, so if you were having an issue, trying to do your speaking engagement, you could just start breaking out singing, right?
Yes, man. Yeah, definitely. Yes, man.
So,
it's like a juggling, balancing act. So you can pull out so many things out of the trick bag. But yes. Exactly. Right.
But, they call yourself the Renaissance man. You have your inspirational communicator. So what is it that, inspires you to inspire others? How do you do that?
Well, I believe that motivation is intrinsic in its purest form, and it's within all of us. And I just thank God for being motivated and self-motivated, having that intrinsic motivation and knowing how it operates. And within us all, we have it, but sometimes it's hard to access. And as an inspirational speaker, an inspirational communicator, it's my job to serve as a spark to ignite and serve as a catalyst to kind of connect with individuals and just get that spark started within them. And once I get that, it'll eventually grow into a blazing fire and just consume them, and they'll be self-motivated. Because other than that, you have to receive the external motivation or extrinsic motivation, which is from others. It could be in the form of money or just a coach or something like that. And all of that's good. We need those types of motivations, but at the end of the day, there are some things that are going to require us to just have that inner motivation. And I believe that I have it consistently. I'm upbeat, I'm happy, I'm living life zestfully, and I'm able to impart that to others. One thing I always share as well is the concept of reproduction and production. And I always say you can only reproduce what's already produced in you. And I always say, you've heard the term hurt people hurt people.
Right.
Well, I say bless people, bless people, and also inspired people, inspire people, educated people, educate people. And I'm able to reproduce that because it's already produced in me. I'm already motivated. I'm already stirred up. I'm already excited. And I can give and impart that energy to others and uplift them and give them that same, strength and power as well and vigor to live life with that zest and enthusiasm.
Right. So as you're constantly inspiring others, tell me who inspires you. How does people keep you uplifted?
Well, I think really just my relationship with God, I would say, is where I get my strength and my motivation from the most, but also my family, my friends, my children, of course. I'm just inspired by them to be the best that I can be, my wife to be the best husband I can be, those who I serve, those putting out for me is the blessing. When I put out, there's something about finding what I call your dominant gift and being able to impart to others. And so that really in and of itself, that is my reward. And that inspires me to do more and more. But yes, I get my motivation from those different entities, those different groups, like I said, my family, those I serve, my coworkers, friends, they all contribute to my energy. Just looking at everybody, looking at the good in everybody, and knowing that you have people who love you and care about you, that just inspires me all in itself.
Right. And you said that you're currently working with children, correct? So is that what you love to do when it comes to inspiring and giving your gifts out to children?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm a parent educator, so I mostly work with the parents, but we do work with the kids too. At this time with COVID being in effect, we haven't had our kids coming to the building, but I'm more so of a parent educator and just dealing with those who have had their kids taken away by the state, either due to abuse or neglect. They get mandated. They have to get referred to us, to my agency, for mandated parenting. Okay. But but of course I still love the kids. I still do youth functions and everything. I still go into the schools or wherever to speak and do workshops and speaking engagements. But yes, I will always love the kids, and yes, that's my heartbeat as well. I'm always concerned about that next generation.
Absolutely. And so obviously, last year was crazy for everybody. So everybody had to learn how to pivot. Talk about your experience in 2020 and how you pivoted your business, and then how currently today are you in a hybrid type scenario with your business, or are you going to continue to stay doing the virtual aspect of the business?
Well, it'll be both, like you say, hybrid, and then, in person or virtual, however doors open and however we're able to do it. But I tell you what was a major shift as far as my business last year, I was able to get a contract, and I'm a consultant with a company called Intuitive Synergies. And so with that, I've been doing a consulting. It's been over a year now, and probably a month. This month, I just made a year being on an independent consultant with that company, and we're working with the Department of Mental Health and Addictions in Indiana, trying to set up a regional system to help with mental health and substance misuse. So it was really a blessing to be able to connect with that agency, and we've been doing.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
On that for a year now, setting up that regional system, and that just really added and took my business to another level to be able to do that and to be on employed, as a consultant for a whole year. But yes, that really helped out. And then currently this year, what I've done, I've started doing workshops and doing different concepts. I had one in January. I teamed up with some partners actually out of the UK, two sisters, and their company's called Rhyme Entertainment, and we did a workshop called Media Mastery. And I had one scheduled for the end of January as well, but one of the facilitators ended up getting COVID, and so we had to postpone that, hadn't rescheduled that one. But I have another one coming up in June called Communicating and Connecting, the Communicating and Connecting Conference. But yes, that's what I've done as far as the pivot. Started setting up my own workshops online, because normally I would do them in person at the library, the local civic center and stuff. But yeah.
Right. But, and the blessing about pivoting and having to do everything virtually, you're able to reach out further than what we could have done, when you're just in one area, because you can't get to everybody, being that you're doing it physically. So I think a lot of people have learned that pivoting has been like I said, a blessing. And now they can truly make their businesses work in a way that they had never thought about. And it's funny that, when all this happened 4 years ago, actually 5 years now for me, I talked about doing everything virtually, and people laughed at me when it came to doing a business. Like, oh no, nobody wants to do it that way. And then here it is over 4 years later. Guess what?
So you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I was trying to be ahead of the curve, and I was getting beat down all at the same time. But it just goes to prove to you that you never put all your eggs in one basket, right? Because we never know what's going to happen to us. And as you said earlier, you want to have these different streams available in order to be a successful business. So let's talk a little bit about a little bit more on the entertainment side, and then we're going to talk about you being an author. So as an entertainer, what music did you actually produce? And you said that you are still currently singing, I believe.
Yeah, well, I do positive and Christian hip hop. That's what I do, and I produce the music as well. I write and I perform it. But yes, that's what I do. That's my genre that I work with. But I also produce R&B music as well. And so, like I said, the advantage I have is with me wearing so many hats of being able to produce the song, write the song, and I could either produce it and write it for someone else or do it for myself. But yes, that's the genre I do. And last November, I put out my 6th project entitled Life, Life, and it's available on all of your major download and streaming sites. But yeah. Wow, you are definitely full.
Got a lot of little tricks in that bag. I'm like, okay, so now tell me about your books. So how many books have you written?
I just published my 4th book last year, and it's entitled Living, Loving, Leading. And so, of course, it's about, life, you finding your who, as I always say, and fulfilling your what, or finding your noun and fulfilling your verb, or finding your purpose, your identity and fulfilling your purpose. That's kind of the beginning of the book, and just understanding how the mind, spirit, soul, and body work, how they're separate but connected. Then the middle portion, we deal with love, loving God, loving yourself, loving others. If you have a spouse, loving your spouse, loving your children. And of course, the last part of the book deals with just leadership, the different leadership principles, leadership styles, your types of supporters, building your dream team, and what I call the 10 laws for leading. But we address just a lot of leadership principles at the end of the book. But yes, that's the latest book we have.
Okay, so do you ever get tired? I'm like, I thought I was crazy and busy.
I don't. And I tell you, look, it's one thing we missed. You talked about the music in the book, but earlier this month on the 1st, I actually released I have an online school, and so I released my latest course entitled Branding, Building, and Balling. And that's really, I extracted some of the concepts from my book, Living, Loving, Leading, but of course added lots more and tailored it to be more relevant to like entrepreneurs, business owners, as well as leaders. But I'm dealing with a lot of concepts that are relevant to them as far as PR, publicity, and obtaining features in publications and interviews like this and stuff like that. But yes, we just released that as well, published that. But yes.
Yeah. And you've had an opportunity to be on a lot of various media outlets. So talk about the experiences of being able to be on, have an opportunity to be on like Huffington Post and Yahoo and so forth. How do you, as an entrepreneur, reach out to those individuals in order to have these opportunities that you had, or did they reach out to you? Talk a little bit about those experiences.
Well, what happened, my greatest resource that has helped me so much is Heyro. I help a reporter out, and I use that as well as a couple of other ones there. But that's like been one of the top ones to obtain those features. And I know a few of them, it was like directly people who worked on the staff at those different companies or different publications. But then I would say like the one for MSN, it's several of them that turned up on MSN. I didn't even know, but I guess it was through one of the other sites that I had written for. Because it gained so much traction, it ended up on MSN. And I'm also on Yahoo and then Yahoo Finance, and it was kind of the same way there because I know directly with the Yahoo Finance, it was through a site called Go Banking, and I had submitted an article that they had accepted and published, and then it ended up on Yahoo as well. And then I do a lot of writing. I got a connection with Thrive Global and doing stuff with them in the Authority magazine. And so once you kind of get your material there, it normally gets picked up on major stuff. Like I was on Newsbreak as well. That's like a major site that prints the news. Wow. And what happened, it took one of the articles from the Thrive Global release or publication that I had done. But yes, it's been a tremendous experience just to see your work being accepted by these major outlets. It's like mind blowing. And I tell you the funniest quick story, one of my coworkers, she was online surfing and she was reading some information in an article, and then all of a sudden she got to the end and she was like, the author Damon. Now she's like, oh my God, this is Damon stuff. And she told me that. I just felt so humbled and so proud at the same time. But she was like, your stuff is on MSN. And she was like, I'm just reading like, oh, this is good stuff. And then I get to the end, it's you. But yes, it's been, like I said, it's a blessing. I'm just overjoyed and thankful for the opportunity. But yes, I count it a blessing.
Yeah, well, you definitely have that spirit inside of you. So you have many listeners are listening in tonight, and they're hearing all of this amazing information you're passing out. So I'm sure there's somebody saying to themselves, I want to be who he is, or I want to have what he has, but I want to build it my way. What type of advice would you give this individual who may want to start a business and may need that little bit of golden nuggets that you can pass on to them tonight?
I always just try to give people 4 major questions, and it comes from my G3 Journey program, where I help people discover what I call a dominant gift. And I always try to encourage people to try, if you're going to start something that, first of all, you're skilled at doing. So that's the first question. What am I good at doing? Then the second question is, what am I passionate about doing, or what do I love doing? And I always put skill before passion, because you can do something that you're passionate about but lack the skills. And I always give the example of American Idol. A lot of those people, they're passionate but not skilled. And so then the third question is, what do you do that has a positive impact or effect on others? And this would go under the category of effectiveness. So you want to do something that people enjoy, and they're telling you, look, you have a future in that. You do really, when you do that, you do it really well. We love your products or services or whatever it is you're doing. And then the fourth thing is, what can you do without monetary compensation and still feel fulfilled and satisfied? In essence, what can you do if you didn't get paid a dime, you would still feel rewarded and satisfied and fulfilled doing it? And if you can find either a gift you have or an area that you work in that can be placed in each category, you find what I call your dominant gift. And so the thing is, if you can start a business or a service that utilizes that in some kind of way, then more than likely you're going to experience the success and, the fulfillment. And of course, you're going to make the money. And that's why I call my program the G3 Journeys for Gift, Glamour, and Gold. So it's all about finding a gift so you can obtain the glamour and receive the gold. But yes, that's what it's all about. Just making sure you have something that aligns with your gifts and talents, and also just having that vision of what you want to become and where you want to go, and then mapping it out, planning it, And I have a message called the vision, the vehicle, and the voyage. So you got to see where you're going, get your vehicle, and then go out on and make that trip, take the voyage to get to your destination. But yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, basically at the end of the day, what you're telling listeners as well is that you have to have your passion and your purpose and worry about, like you said, the income will come later. Because if you start the other way, then it's always going to be chasing money versus really understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And I think a lot of times, we live in a society that's all about instant gratification. Yeah, and so people aren't as willing to work as hard or to let things grow organically because we are living in a world that tells you have to have everything right now. So, exactly what you're talking about is the way that every business should go, where, like you said, you need to know exactly what it is you're passionate about. Learn that journey, understand why or how you can help somebody else in order to be able to move forward to get the income side of it. So I love, your concept on what you're teaching people, because it's exactly what needs to be done for businesses today. And from the way I look at it is that they'll last longer versus, you being this overnight success and then you're falling off the curb because we don't know what happened to you because, you got your millions, but then you're gone, right?
Yeah. It's all about sustainability. And as you're stating, our gifts and talents we have is really for the world, for everybody else. And as you give it out and be that blessing, don't worry, your blessings will come in return. But yes, it's like you said, it's all about sustainability and longevity. And that's something that we really help people to establish. So you can last long. Yes.
Exactly. Well, as we are getting close to the end of the show, before we end the end of the show, please let everybody know how they can, again, get a hold of you and where they can find your books. And if you have any current events, again, when those will be coming out so that they can go ahead and apply for those, or, if they want to be a part of listening to your programs or actually be a part of getting some help in the consulting side as well.
Okay. Well, my most comprehensive site is DaRil, DARIL.org, and that's the simplest one to find. If you go there, it will have my bio, information, services, links to all the other sites. But I also have another site that's named after my book. It's livinglovingleading.net. And you can go there, and as I say, we got a lot of information, programs, and different products there. But as far as my books, they're on Amazon.com, so you can look up Living, Loving, Leading, or just type in my name. I also have a book I wrote a few years ago, a spiritual book called Revelation Rightly Revealed. But it's all of those are on Amazon. And then, like I said, my music is on all of your download sites, but it's under the name of DaRil, DARIL. And as far as Facebook and Instagram, it's just Damon, DamonNailer, just Damon Naylor. And let me see, Twitter is DARIL and the number 1. But yes, and as far as my online school, it's reallifeacademy.thinkific.com. But if you really just put in my name, Google it, all of these sites are going to come up. Right. I have a high SEO as far as my content because we have so much out there. And I guess the last thing, I'm having a Communicating and Connecting conference. That's June 12th. And, like I say, you can go to Eventbrite to register for that. But, yeah. Okay.
Well, wow. Like I said, you are a busy man. And, I hope that you take care of yourself and get some relaxation in between all these things that you are doing, because you are absolutely the Renaissance man. So the name is fitting for you. And, I do appreciate you coming on the show with me this evening. And of course, like I said, celebrating our 200th episode together. That is crazy. So you've provided such amazing information to all the listeners. So I hope you all have enjoyed this evening's show. And do you have any last words for our listeners this evening, DaRil?
I just want to say, go for it. Don't hold back. Live it like it's your last day. Just take your shot. Shoot that shot. Don't worry about it if you miss or whatever. More than likely, you're going to hit that 3-pointer. You're going to score. So just go ahead on and take the shot. Stop making excuses. Stop worrying about or considering anything that's hindering you. Just get over it, get beyond it, and make it happen.
All right. Well, you heard it from the best here, the authority expert himself, Mr. Damon DaRil Naylor. Again, it has been a pleasure having you on the show this evening. And for everybody else, what do you wish existed for you in 2021? It is time for you to start spreading those wings and moving yourself out. If you would like to talk to me and you want to just conversate about your next steps, you can reach me at KimberlyWSBILLC@gmail.com and let's just chat. If you want to learn more about WSBILLC.com, just go to the website. I just said it. It's www.WSBILLC.com about our services and programs. Or if you may want to be a guest on the show, please reach out to me at any time and get your name on the list because, we are constantly growing and we're constantly doing a lot. And of course, we also have an amazing campaign going on, trying to reach $5,000 so that we can continue to provide more resources for success, which means that we would like to, we're getting requests to have an additional show, another program here. So another night of the same show, of course, and then have more Q&A live sessions with our favorite experts that we've been talking to on the radio. Better to have them live. I think everybody would enjoy that. But, and we also want to provide a few other things that I'm not going to talk about tonight. But again, please, reach out and support our programs and support WSBILLC.com. Everything we do here is to inspire and to uplift and to provide resources so that we're not reinventing the wheel. You can learn everything here. All these guests that come on provide you amazing information. If you're a true listener, you're taking notes, you are gaining a lot of great knowledge for free. So make sure that you continue, like I said, to support us. We are here every week at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday evenings, right here on iHeartRadio. We will be back again next week with a more amazing guest. You can also download our show on the mobile app through Google Play or wherever you listen to your podcast. Until then, you enjoy all the rest of your evening and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.WSBILLC.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit BMWUSA.com for details.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.